Loop Cloud has completely changed the way I work and produce music.
Hi, I'm Nick, I'm from Novation, and I'd like to introduce you and present to you the new Novation Summit. This is our latest synth. It's a multi-timbral version of Peak, effectively, with two-part multi-timbrality. It offers 16 voices of polyphony, and it's got some great performance features that I'd like to run through with you. Perhaps, first off though, we'd like to start with getting a flavour for the overall sound of the synth. So we've had some patches that have been specially curated just for the show. So that gives you a flavour for the type of sounds that Summit can make. At its heart, Summit has got an FPGA inside. In fact, it's got two of them, and they are providing the synthesis behind the 16 voices and also the control signals for the analog filters and some of the mod destinations we've got. The oscillators use what we could term as New Oxford oscillators, which are generated at a very, very high sample rate of 24 megahertz, and this gives us far better signals or quality of oscillators than you would typically find on a synthesizer using digital technology. In fact, it's as close to analog as you want it to be. Or, alternatively, the FPGA is also able to provide us with wavetables and FM to give the synth some really cool digital sides as well. Once you're through the oscillator path, you're into the mixer section, and from the mixer section into the filter section. Now the filter is special. It is an analog filter. It's based on a state variable filter design, which is the same topology that we've had running from many of our synths, Base Station, Peak, and now Summit are using this design. But with Summit, we've introduced filter separation. So we've got our standard filter wave shapes, our standard filter shapes of low pass, band pass, and high pass, but we've also got other shapes which are shown within the menu here, and these are combinations of the low pass and high pass, but they are either being parallel or in serial, and the key is that you can separate out the filter frequencies. You can make them diverge, you can make them converge, and this gives you lots of possibilities for coming up with vowel type sounds. Sounds really, really nice. In fact, one of the patches that I was using earlier was showing that type of sound. The effects section is largely the same as Peak, but being that we have now got effectively two peaks inside here, there's something that we can do here which is when we're in the multi-mode, we can use one half of the synth as an 8-voice synth with its own effects, and we can also route audio through the effects input into another independent effects engine. And each of those effects engines have got the chorus, delay, and of course the great reverb that was developed for Peak. In the multi-mode, we've got some performance controls that allow us to just play the performances or the multis as a layer. So when you're playing the keyboard, I'm playing both layers A and B simultaneously. I can split the keyboard. So on one side of the keyboard, I'm playing layer A, and on the other side, I'm playing layer B. Or I can put it into dual mode, where I'm playing from the keyboard either layer A or layer B, or I can play both. The reason for separating out the controls though is if I am in a layered mode, then I can control which of the two multis, which of the two parts within the multis I'm able to edit with the control surface. And that could be layer A, it could be layer B, or that could be both. Each of the layers has got its own arpeggiator, and we can have them running independently. So if I set this, I'm in layer mode, on layer B, I'll put its arp on, and I'll do the same for layer A. And now you can see that layer A is playing an independent arp to layer B, and it's also playing a completely different rhythm. I can change the octaves or the rhythm type that I'm playing on layer A or layer B. There we go. Another key feature that we've pulled out from Peak is the use of FM, but we've put the FM controls directly on the front panel of the synth. And this is great because it allows you to not only control the FM directly from the controls here, but it also means that we don't have to use up any of the valuable mod slots. For each of the oscillators, there's a particular FM path that's here. So this one is oscillator 3 to oscillator 1. This one's oscillator 1, modulates oscillator 2. Oscillator 2 modulates oscillator 3. And I can set a static amount of this, or an amount that's going to be controlled by the mod envelope, of which we have 2, and this one would be mod env 2, or the amount that is controlled by LFO 2. So the best way to demonstrate this is from an initialized patch. If I change this to a sawtooth, just turn the level up slightly. So both oscillators 1 and 3 are now using just a simple sine wave. I'm dialing in an amount of FM, which I will leave at a static value there, and bring in some mod env. I can filter that down, change the pitch of oscillator 2. And it's really quick to come up with bell-like and, well, all kind of other manner of FM style tones. And because we've got oscillator 3 modulating 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, it's kind of recursive, so we can push this into quite noisy territory quite easily. in a nutshell, that's Summit. It's more than the sum of just 2 peaks and a fantastic keyboard, because of the addition of the filters, controls and separation, the FM controls to the front panel, and the performance controls that allow you to get access to which part you're controlling, and the external input to the effects. Thank you.